movies. And I started my family, and my attention was on other things.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You used to be an actor back in the day.
And so I wasn't out there hustling as hard. And so because I wasn't hustling as hard, I wasn't selling tickets. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have social media, right? Mm-hmm. Where you could put something up. And so I found myself kind of in this weird space where I was like, oh shit, I got to find another hustle. Mm-hmm. And so the other hustle became producing and directing these comedy specials that started off with the producing and then hustling up writing gigs for television. You fall into that space as a comic where you go, oh, I can write for TV. And I say fall into that space. It shouldn't. That's not to demean writing for television as a comic, but it's not what I came here to do. Right. And so
this is a good game.
Now I'm finding myself, I have a family to take care of. Now I got to figure out how to just stay afloat. And so the producing and directing comedy specials, one special turns into 2 specials, turns into 32 specials later. Mm-hmm. Like you just acquire a certain amount of knowledge about how productions run, what makes sense to do, how lighting and budgets and all. And so
this is Tony Rock's podcast.
My thing is I'm an open source guy. Like I want to see guys in my circle win.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, when I watch somebody who's about to do something, I extend myself, right? And there's some people that are open to that, and some people go, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're one of them guys whenever I'm about to perform and I see in the audience, it's like when you see your mom at your football game or your dad at your football game.
We went straight to your mom.
No, what I say, you feel safe. Like I feel like, yo.
Just for the sake of clarity.
Yeah, like I feel
I'm
safe.
the killer in this room.
Yeah.
I'm the quiet killer.
Yeah.
Like I'm not your mom.
Listen, you know when you on the field or you play sport and you see your mom.
How about uncle, motherfucker?
But you have a sense of like, okay, I feel good.
Nah, listen. Here's the thing.
I feel like
I understand.
Yeah, I felt like you going.
I'm glad you're there.
I feel good.
I'm the back of the room guy. A lot of comics will go, "Oh, Royale's here," right?
Yeah.
And it's weird. I cannot. Here's the thing. It's a weird position to be in because. I think Marlon called me one time the youngest veteran, right? And it's like this weird thing where in my brain, I'm a young cat. You know what I mean? In this business, I've been doing this shit for 35 years, right? And the number's the number. I was in the Marine Corps. I was in my 3rd year of college. I was doing stand-up in college. I got pulled out to go over to Iraq and Kuwait, right?
Oh, damn. He was in I remember this guy. He played on Bluey. He played, what was that movie with Quinn? I think it was Barbershop. One of these movies. He used to be in a lot of movies back like in the 90s and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I remember this guy, though. Hit the thumbs up button.
Spent great time over there. So all the chaos, said my last prayer because I thought it was one event where I was going to lose my life. And in that moment, I realized that life could be this long or this short, and the thing that makes the difference is what you're doing in between those 2 spaces. And stand-up was the thing that I wanted to be doing in between those 2 spaces. And I was like, fuck school. I'm not going back to college. I turned my attention 100% towards stand-up. And so in doing that, I kind of accelerated through some things, but stand-up has always been the thing. And so I find myself now, having done it for as long as I have.
This is interesting.
If I'm not performing, I still want to be out.
I'm not even a comedian.
And so if I'm out with this producer, director, punch-up writer. If I'm in the room and I see you do something, right, there used to be this system where, man, I swear years ago, where you get off stage and cats would have, everybody be like, man, this punch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a circle of cats that still do that.
Yeah.
You think
but then so many, this shit is all over the place. Wow. Nobody, first of all, comics don't care about comedy anymore. They only care about themselves. Comics don't care about comedy anymore. Social media has changed it so much that you can microwave bake something so fast in this business that they don't have to care, right? Nigga, I'm gonna be famous tomorrow. And it can happen. Right? Even if you set your dick on fire, fucking whatever, it can happen like that. And so, and here's the other thing. There used to be this dynamic where talent and the public was separated, and so that if you worked hard enough on your craft, you were seen as talent. Social media has changed it so that your aunt is talent now. If she go outside and fucking pop a wheelie on the bike with no slip on and her pussy show, that's a talent, and it went viral. So now she's the pussy popping wheelie lady.
Now she and a month later she'll be opening comedy shows with
let me tell you something.
Veterans.
Let me tell you something. With veterans that don't have a social media following, that need that stage time, that need that $2,000 or whatever the number is, right, to feed their family.
Right.
And so, to the point of this, I've been doing it long enough that I have positioned myself by default as just, you know, a guy that has the resources that some cats know. Oh, you can go to Royale and he'll know. He understands.
Royale,
like again, there's some comics that say, "Oh, I direct comedy specials," right? And my question is, but can you deliver a comedy special? You can set up cameras, you can shoot it. Can you deliver? Because I can promise you this right now. Delivering a comedy special to Netflix is no easy feat. And that's where a lot of comics will fail, who say, oh, you can shoot, I can set up cameras. I talk to comics right now about distribution and all this, that, and they say, I got this. But yeah, can you deliver it? Do you know the process for delivery? Because that's where you'll get hung up. And if you don't shoot a certain way, knowing going into it, right, you're going to wait. I talk to comics who go, oh, man, I shot this for $25,000. Well, you can't do shit with it now because you didn't understand delivery. Now, YouTube has changed it because now you can throw stuff up on, not throw stuff, but you can put stuff up on YouTube. But even that has a certain requirement in terms of the specs and how things should be shot, so forth and so on. So, you know, again, I'm just a guy with some resources who still loves comedy very passionately. And now I have a son who's doing stand-up. I have a son who's now working in an agency on the representation side. And you know, I just love this business, man, and I like hanging with cats that I fuck with. So it's a good fit.
So we're gonna keep it right there because I had a bunch of questions, but since you said producing and directing special, we'll start right there. So a comic comes to you and says, "Hey, I want to shoot a special," right?
Yeah.
They have the material. They have the time. They have the material. Is it that all that you need, or what is it that you need? Like, what is there a protocol?
Let me look this up. I'm gonna look him up because I remember his face. He hasn't been in anything in a while, so I guess he's behind the camera now. His name is Royale. Let's see. His name is Royale. I'm gonna look his ass up right now. Royale. Let's look him up. Hold on. Let's look him up right quick, y'all. Hold on a second. Okay, so his name is, this is Royale Watkins. That's his Royale Watkins. He's an actor turned producer and writer and director. He was in Cruise Control, Deliver Us From Eva. That movie with, it was LL Cool J. I forgot who the love interest was. Yeah, I remember him. He played the guy who was acting like he was gay, but he was straight. Yeah, I remember that movie. He was on the show All of Us. Yeah, back like in the 90s. Well, he's 55 years old. The movie with Deliver Us From Eva was with LL Cool J, Dwayne Martin, and Gabrielle Union. She was a love interest, but I knew he played. He played on Built to Last, a show back in '97. So, but now he's directing comedy specials. Okay, I knew he was familiar. He played in the Too Legit, The Quit Story. The story of MC Hammer back in the day. December 3rd, 19. Yeah, he's 55. He looks good. He's 55 years old. He's old. He's up there. What other shows he? I think he was in. I think he might have been Soul. Was he in Soul Food? I'm looking at Royale Watkins. I'm looking at his biography. He directed. Yeah. Okay, so he directed Lil Ral's comedy special, Mike Epps, Robert Powell comedy special. Okay, so yeah, he's behind the camera now. Okay. Interesting. We're going to get back into it, man. Hit the thumbs up button, guys.
Or for you to say, okay,
Somebody
I'll work with
inbox
this
me. I get these inboxes all the time from cats. Because, again, legitimately, I have to promote myself as a producer, director. And so I'll put it out there occasionally, say, hey, I direct comedies and put my reel up, and people see it and go, oh, shit, this guy Royale is the guy. And so cat inboxed me earlier today, and, I try to be generous and respond to everybody, right? If I don't lose track of it, because again, when you're managing as many social media platforms, myself, me and Quake Certified Funny Mixtape, there's a lot of information to track. I don't have an assistant, it's me. And so, shit, I shouldn't have said I don't have an assistant. Because now motherfuckers go motherfucker, so it's me, right? Cat hit me up today, say, hey, I want to shoot a special. Here's my thing. Like, I start
comic?
It's somebody, just a rando. And that's a weird thing. I respond to everybody.
Okay.
Because
you can be famous tomorrow, like you said.
No. Here's the thing.
Right. You don't know who's gonna be who.
I'll tell you what legitimately it is, or at least one of the things. As a young comic coming up, like, I had veteran comics be very generous to me, right? Chrissy's one of them. Very generous, right? In ways that they didn't have to. And so, Chrissy said, DL, it's cats that Bill Bellamy, like, either pick up the phone when I call or get right back to me in ways that, I remember Damon Wayans gave me his number, right? And it was weird because I was like, oh shit, what do I do with this? You know what I mean? And it's like, he gave you the number for a reason.
Right.
Somebody had to tell me that. Like, he gave you the number for a reason. Like, and again, I've been doing this a long time. I put a lot of hard work in. I had my Def Jam bit just went viral again. And I hadn't even paid attention to it, right? That's a bit that's 30 years old. That Def Jam set is 30 years old, right? And honestly, I was like going to give that bit to my son just for shits and giggles to say, Ross, you should do this. Let's just see what happens. And before we could get to it, somebody put it out there. And so, because people have been kind to me, I try to make sure that I respond to everybody that I can respond to. So a younger comic hit me up and he said, hey, I want to shoot a special. And so I said, hey, what is your goal? What are you trying to achieve? Right? I start with that. And then after I get through that, what's your budget? My guy said $3,000. It's like,
that's disappointing.
I mean, no. Here's the thing. That's where he is.
That's where he is.
Right.
That's where he is.
So, there's the part of me that goes, okay, $3,000. I can't do anything with that. You know what I mean? I look at budgets. And look, on the low side, if I do something skinny for $40,000-$50,000, it's got to be for a friend, right? Because I'm not going to make money off of $40,000-$50,000.
All right, so $40,000, got you.
I mean, just not.
Thank you. Let me get an American Express.
No, but it's like budget and location. Those are the. For anybody that's in this business, and it really comes down to budget and location, if they have the show. And I need to see the show, right? I want to see what it is that I have to shoot, and not just see it, but think about like how I can transform it into something. I think that Ryan Davis's special is a good example of me being clear about how I wanted him, what I wanted him to get out of it, even without him being aware, right? I want him to look like a star, right? Mike Epps is probably one of the best examples because Mike and I have a collaborative relationship that allows me to work with him throughout the entire process. And so Ready to Sell Out, which I executive produced and directed, is probably, I would say, the best example of what my work is as a producer, director in the space. But ultimately, it comes down to budget and location. And then from there, I start trying to figure out how I can give. This is my approach to shooting these specials. How can I give you as talent everything that I wish somebody would give to me if I have an opportunity to shoot a special? That's
think about that.
Like literally, and then I go to work going, I want this to supersede your wildest ideas about what you thought could come out of this relationship. Right? I look at Stan Lathan and you know, to your point of me being an auntie. I remember when I did Def Jam. Listen, Auntie Royale gonna be my gang name. And so I remember doing Def Comedy, and while Russell was the name that was everybody, Russell Simmons, Russell. Stan Lathan, I did this double Dutch bit. I think the second time that I did Def Comedy, right?
I remember that.
And after I did that bit, Stan, who was producing and directing Def Comedy, who is like hands down to me the gold standard for comedy specials.
Absolutely.
There's a couple guys out there, but Stan is the OG gold standard, and he is quietly the guy that I look up to and has inspired me to learn how to shoot these specials, because the special has to make a statement beyond the person holding the microphone. You know what I mean? Like the watch that's in a Rolex box only gets the attention it gets because the box says it deserves it. Right? How we frame things matter. And so Stan's job as a director is to frame it in such a way that you respect it more as art. You understand what I'm saying? And so for me, I want to frame your work in such a way that when you see it, you go, holy shit. Right, this is art. I made, like, together. It's really an important relationship between the director and the talent. And again, I'm passionate about this thing, man. And so, to the point of again being this auntie, I always step back and look at what talent is doing, what the comic is doing, and how I can put something around that, or put them in a situation that's going to allow them to show up and have fun. That's all. That's like I told Ryan, he's like, you know, his first special, like this, a lot of concerns was like, man, listen, your job is just going to be to show up and have fun. Everything else falls on me. You don't need to, all this stuff that you're worrying about, let it go. Like, I've been doing this a long time, and I'm always operating from both sides. I'm operating as talent because I'm asking myself, if I was talent in this situation, what would I need? And I'm operating as producer director so that, again, I can answer that question without having to bug you. Your job is show up, do the show. I know the show, but I've seen it. I should see your show enough times that I know your show. And if I have ideas about how we can do something differently to enhance it, to make it a bigger experience, then we can, we can have that conversation. But
question. So when you say it's about the location, what do you mean? Are you talking about what you're able to do in a specific location?
Well, again,
like a theater.
Listen, we can't shoot a special at Madison Square Garden on a budget of $50,000.
Okay.
Good game. This is a good game right here. So I like to watch stuff like this. This is Tony Rock's podcast, live from the green room. Tony Rock is, of course, y'all know, is Chris Rock's brother, younger brother. But he's, I said before, I believe he's funnier than Chris Rock. But I like Chris Rock too, but I think Tony Rock is funnier. As far as stand-up. But this is his podcast, live from the green room. This guy's giving some game about being a black comedian and making it in Hollywood. It's really interesting stuff, man, because he's been around. He said he's been doing it for 35 years. That's a long time to be in this Hollywood shit and you black and you able to eat off of it, Anyway, what y'all think about this video, man? Leave your comments and subscribe to Charles and Israel. Hit the thumbs up button.